Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Heartland Mamas. I'm Heidi Henry. Murray Briel is still on hiatus, and we're coming to you today from the edge of the Great Red Divide, the place where all things sensible cease to exist, right here in my backyard. So, Murray and I wanted to talk to you today. Murray's not here, of course. Wanted to talk to you about the role women play in the upcoming debate about abortion rights. Now, listen, the debate is over. It's been through the Supreme Court. We're about to lose our right to bodily autonomy at any moment. At any moment, they're going to drop this decision, and we're just out of luck. We don't own our bodies anymore. They belong to the government, and the government gets to decide what we get to do with them. Now, for somebody my age, it's not a problem anymore, right? I mean, why should I care? Why should I care? Because since I was 12 years old, we've been discussing this in Illinois, in the United States, and it's been settled law. Roe v. Wade in 1973 became law. It became the law of the land so that women could access abortion as needed for health care, a decision between her and her doctor. The 13th Amendment assures us that we don't have to do any work for free without compensation unless we're prisoners. Well, now we're prisoners of our own bodies and condemned to do the work of the government from forevermore. Now, I live in Illinois. So Illinois passed something called the Reproductive Health Act 2 years ago, and our governor, J.B. Pritzker, was a champion of this cause. But my state representative for the Illinois 76th, who's a Democrat, voted against it, as did my state senator, who's a Republican. So how am I supposed to be sure that going forward after the Supreme Court drops its final decision, that I have any rights to own my body at all? I don't know that that's going to be the case, no matter if I need services or not. But here's the important thing I wanted to talk to you about. Since Roe v. Wade, since 1973, women have been the vote getters and the fundraisers for both political parties. Why isn't Roe codified? Because of the amount of money that women bring in for donations to keep our bodily autonomy, for the votes that we garner trying to save our own autonomy over our own bodies. I just want to read you a statistic here that I found today online, and it says that since the leak, let's see, abortion rights PACs have earned $23.4 million, and anti-abortion causes have raised $9.5 million. That's money that goes to administration costs, that goes to political campaign funds. We're talking that NARAL here, which is NARAL Pro-Choice America, along with its allies, have already promised to spend $150 million to influence the upcoming midterm elections. Now, I'm a big fan. I've donated to NARAL over and over again, and to Planned Parenthood, and to Personal PAC, to all of them. Emily's List, all of them. But my money, your money that's donating, is keeping those entities going. Just like for the Republicans, they have the Susan B. Anthony Fund. And listen, Susan B. Anthony would be rolling in her grave right now if she realized that women's right to choose is going to be gone. Susan B. Anthony was a warrior for women's rights. Why would she ever have a list compiled to strip women of rights? She would not. But the Susan B. Anthony list gave $83,000 to Republican candidates. The conservative PAC, backed by Trump and several incumbents in toss-up elections, including Joni Ernst and Lindsey Graham. And Women Speak Out PAC, they're spending more than $500,000 in Iowa, $500,000, because women are the vote getters and the donation earners for both parties. That's why Roe was never codified. And here we are. Here we are. We're sitting here hamstrung by the patriarchy. Again, we're screwed. And there's nobody coming to rescue us because of the amount of money at play. Because in every one of those associations, every one of those PACs, every one of those things, entities, there are administrative costs, there's transportation, there's big balls, there's, balls isn't dancing. There's all this hoopla that surrounds it. There's t-shirts and bumper stickers and all kinds of stuff that our donations help to buy on both sides. Those pray to end abortion bumper stickers, or I vote pro-choice, or choose. All of those things cost money. And all of those things we women bring to the table. Our human rights, our human dignity are the top vote getters and donation producers in this country right now. That's what we're worth. We're just worth how many votes we can bring to the party. How much money can we bring to the parties? It's never been about us and our rights. Never. Never. It's always been about what we can produce besides babies, money and votes. Nobody talks about this, but you have to understand that we are just chattel in another way. We're just being used in another way. So it's not just about our bodies and our bodily autonomy. It's what can we produce besides a child? Money and votes. Now, all those anti-abortion groups, they do great work. Like I said, we give money, my husband and I give money to them all the time. It's one of those things on Giving Tuesdays I check off. Some of them I even do monthlies for, send them a monthly donation because they do the hard work. But in all this hard work, nothing really got done. Our rights were eroded and eroded and eroded. And where we can blame it on the religious right, I put it squarely on our politicians and these entities for not making sure Roe was codified and women were safe. Because when Roe goes away, what are we going to discuss? Guns? 21 people died in an elementary school in Texas today. Are we going to ever talk about guns? I don't think so. Murray and I have talked about guns a few times. As gun owners, as gun rights supporters, as people who support universal background checks, the end of straw purchases, the end of ghost guns, all of those things. We've talked about it. But you think that they would produce the amount of money and votes that women's bodies do? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think that because there isn't any other big buzzword issue, climate change doesn't reach that buzz. Gun legislation does not reach that buzz. Education does not reach that buzz. But what happens here reaches that buzz. And that's disgusting. So Democratic politicians and those entities that are anti-abortion, what are you going to do now? Because we're fucked. Women are just totally screwed over. Our rights, our bodily autonomy is gone. It's gone. And women will be migrating up out of the South to come to Illinois where it's safe. Where it's safe to be a woman, where it's safe to have an abortion, where it's safe to have medical care. Listen, tonight I listened to the Republican governor's debate, and all I heard is, well, we can't allow women to make any choices except to have babies. And that's not even their choice, it's our choice as men. 3 white men sitting up on the dais talking about what gives a woman the right to decide what happens to her own body. And in states, Kansas, Nebraska, Louisiana, women will be used and put in jail for having bodily autonomy, for taking matters into their own hands. Shame on us for wanting to control things. Shame on us. But shame on the politicians and shame on the entities that surround them, that fund them, for not making sure that this was codified years ago. You could have done it in 73. You could have done it in 74. You could have done it in 86. You could have done it in 92. You could have done it in 2000. You could have done it in 2011. You could have done it last year. But you chose not to do anything because of the amount of money we raise, because of the amount of votes we garner. We're just screwed. That's it. That's it. So now the fight gets bigger and nastier, and more money is raised, and more votes are gotten. To what end? When does this stop? 50 years wasn't enough. How many years will it be? We have a judge that's going back hundreds and thousands of years to quote things, to justify, and for everything he can quote, I can quote better. And I'm just a horse trainer from Marseilles, Illinois. And he's a SCOTUS judge. It's going to tell me what I can do and what I can't do. Listen, no one's ever told me what to do in my life. No one. No one. I don't take advice from other people that I don't want. It can make me feel bad for not taking that advice, but not for very long, because I already know what it is that I want, what my purpose is. It takes a long time. It takes a woman almost 40 to 50 years to finally figure out who the hell she is. And now the government's going to step in and tell her who she really is. And she's not going to like it. So more money will be raised and more votes will be garnered. And the cycle repeats itself again and again and again and again and again. And we're tired of it. We are tired of being the market. We're tired of being the product. We are human beings, and we are entitled to our bodily autonomy. We are entitled to equal rights. Why isn't the Equal Rights Amendment ratified? It's been passed. Why isn't it ratified? Oh, gee, I wonder why. I wonder why. And it has nothing to do with abortion, really. But here we are. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to get on the phone, and I want you to call your congressman or woman. I want you to call your senator, state and federal. I want you to go to vote.org and look up your voter registration status today, tonight, right now. And then share vote.org with everyone you know so they can check their status too. Because not only do we have to vote out or vote in front of or get in front of these Republicans that are going to do dastardly deeds to us and enforce us, enslave us, and violate the 13th and 14th Amendment, not only do we have to do that, but we have to start voting in people who are actually going to do what they promise and codify Roe and give women the human rights and dignity that we deserve. Look, it's not just for us, it's for the men too, because listen, if you're coming for us, we're coming right back at you. We're going to want those vasectomies, and we're going to want childcare from conception. Child support. Any man that I know that has stood up against it has not paid his child support. I can guarantee you that. This is a sad, sad place that we are. Everyone has let us down. Everyone. And there's nothing worse than a woman that stands in the way of another woman. That's disgusting. Okay, so I'm Heidi Henry. This is the Heartland Mamas podcast. Sorry, pointing at the wrong sign because this is backwards. I'm in our new studio. Murray one day is going to come back from hiatus, and we're going to have some fun banter. But for right now, I want you to get on the phone and start making those phone calls. And I want you to think before you donate. If we didn't raise so much money, maybe they'd have a little more fire in their bellies. So this is Heidi Henry, Heartland Mamas, MAMAS.com. See you later. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to me rant.